4 years. That's how long my family pretended I didn't exist. No calls, no holidays, no birthdays, nothing. The same parents who once told everyone I was their biggest disappointment suddenly showed up in my office like they owned the place. My mother slammed a stack of papers on my desk and said, "Sign over 50% of your company. You owe this family." My brother stood behind her smirking like he had already won. They thought I was still the same desperate girl they kicked out of the house years ago. What they didn't know was that every single thing they were about to demand was exactly what I had been waiting for. And by the time they realized the truth, it was already too late. If you enjoy stories where entitled families finally get the karma they deserve, subscribe now, because this one ends with the kind of revenge they'll never recover from. And comment below from where are you watching. 4 years ago, my family cut me off like I had never existed. Not because I committed a crime, not because I hurt anyone, but because I refused to hand over my future to my older brother. You see, in my family, everything revolved around Ethan. He was the golden child. My parents treated him like he was some kind of prodigy, even though he barely managed to graduate college and had already burned through 3 different business ideas funded by my dad. Meanwhile, I was the quiet one, the one who studied late, worked 2 part-time jobs, and graduated at the top of my class with a degree in software engineering. But none of that mattered, because, in their eyes, Ethan deserved everything. The breaking point came the day my parents called a family meeting. I still remember sitting at the kitchen table while my mom slid a document toward me. It was a loan agreement, or at least that's what she called it. In reality, it was a contract forcing me to invest the entire startup fund I had saved for years into Ethan's newest business idea, a delivery app that was supposed to revolutionize local shopping. I stared at the paper in disbelief. "Wait, you want me to give Ethan my savings?" I asked. My dad didn't even hesitate. "It's not giving," he said. "It's supporting family." Ethan leaned back in his chair with that same smug smile he always had. "Relax," he said. "You'll get it back when the company explodes." The thing was, I had seen this movie before. Ethan's restaurant idea failed. His clothing brand failed. His crypto scheme failed. Every time, my parents bailed him out. And every time, they expected me to cheer him on. But this time, it was my money. 3 years of saving. 3 years of skipping vacations, working weekends, and living in a tiny apartment, so I could finally build something of my own. So I said the one word my family had never heard from me before. No. The silence in that kitchen was immediate. My mom's face hardened like I had just insulted her. "You're being selfish," she said. My dad slammed his hand on the table. "Your brother needs this opportunity." Ethan didn't yell. He just looked at me with pure contempt. "You always thought you were smarter than everyone else," he said. And then my mom said the sentence that changed everything. "If you won't support this family, then maybe you shouldn't be part of it." At first, I thought she was bluffing. She wasn't. By the end of that week, my parents had blocked my number. My brother posted on social media about how I betrayed the family. Even relatives stopped talking to me. Just like that, I was completely alone. But here's the funny part. The moment they cut me off was the exact moment my life finally started working. Because without them draining my energy, my money, and my confidence, I was finally free to build something for myself. And over the next 4 years, that tiny startup fund they tried to steal from me turned into something far bigger than any of them could have imagined. Which is why, when my assistant walked into my office last week and said, "Your parents are here, and they're demanding to see the owner of the company," I couldn't help but smile. Because they had no idea who that owner was. And the moment they found out, their entire world was about to collapse. I told my assistant to let them in. A few seconds later, the door to my office swung open like they owned the building. My mom walked in first, wearing that same confident expression she used whenever she believed she was about to control a situation. My dad followed behind her, and Ethan came last, already looking around the office like he was evaluating his future property. None of them recognized me at first, which wasn't surprising. 4 years changes a person. Back when they kicked me out, I was exhausted, broke, and barely holding myself together. Now I was sitting behind the desk of a glass-walled corner office on the 27th floor. Calm, successful, completely untouchable. My mom didn't even look at me properly before dropping a thick stack of papers on the desk. "Good," she said. "You're the manager here or something, right?" I leaned back slightly. "Something like that." She pushed the documents toward me. "We're here to settle a business matter. The owner of this company owes our family a significant debt." Ethan smirked. "He stole our idea," he added. I raised an eyebrow. "Your idea?" My dad crossed his arms. "The delivery platform. That was Ethan's concept 4 years ago. Someone here clearly copied it. That's when I realized what was happening. Ethan's latest business venture had failed again. And when my company's app started dominating the regional market, they convinced themselves it must have been stolen from him." My mom tapped the papers. "We're offering a fair solution," she said. "Sign over 50% ownership of the company to Ethan. Otherwise, we're going public with the truth tonight." She leaned closer, lowering her voice like she was delivering some devastating threat. "We'll ruin this company's reputation before sunrise." For a moment, the room was completely silent. Then I slowly turned the papers toward me and flipped through them. They had actually brought a legal demand letter, a badly written one. But still, impressive effort. I looked up at Ethan. "You really believe this company belongs to you?" He shrugged. "You wouldn't even understand how businesses work." That's when I finally stood up. And for the first time since they walked in, my mom actually looked at my face. Her expression froze. "Emily?" The color drained from her face instantly. Ethan blinked. "Wait, what?" I folded the papers neatly and set them back on the desk. "Yes," I said calmly. "I'm Emily." My dad stared around the office like the room itself had betrayed him. "You? Work here?" I shook my head slightly. "No." Then I picked up the small plaque on my desk and turned it toward them. Their eyes landed on the engraved title, Emily Carter, founder and CEO. The silence that followed was almost beautiful. Ethan's smug expression collapsed first. That's not possible." My mom looked like she was about to faint. You built this?" I nodded. "With the savings you tried to force me to give Ethan?" My dad opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Then Ethan suddenly snapped. "You stole my idea." I almost laughed, but instead, I opened a drawer and slid a thin folder across the desk. Inside were dated development documents, patents, and business registrations, all legally filed, all proving the same thing. This company had been mine from the very beginning. And then I delivered the final blow. "Also," I said calmly, "before you go public with those accusations," I tapped the last page in the folder. "Our legal team prepared something for that scenario." My mom's hands trembled as she read the document. A defamation lawsuit. One that would financially destroy them if they tried to spread their story. Ethan looked completely stunned. "You'd sue your own family?" I met his eyes without emotion. "You stopped being my family 4 years ago." No one spoke for several seconds. Finally, I walked to the door and opened it. Security was already waiting in the hallway. "You can escort them out," I said. As they were led toward the elevator, my mom turned back toward me one last time. Her voice was barely a whisper. "We made a mistake." But I didn't respond. Because the truth was simple. 4 years ago, they thought cutting me off would destroy my life. Instead, it gave me the freedom to build a better one. And the best part? They had walked right into my office. Just to watch it.